Half Shell Oyster House November features are here. Get in the holiday spirit with their Creole cornbread oysters or Creole harvest cobia. It's Half Shell's take on Thanksgiving. Creole cornbread oysters come topped and baked with a homemade cornbread dressing of oysters, shrimp, and crawfish, garnished with tasso ham hollandaise. The Creole harvest cobia comes bronzed with homemade cornbread dressing with oysters, shrimp, and crawfish, topped with a tasso ham hollandaise, served with your choice of side salad or side item. If you're looking for dessert, you'll find it in the peanut butter cup martini or nutta butter old fashioned at Half Shell Oyster House, located at 115 Laurel Park Cove, Suite 105, Flowood, Mississippi, 39232, or you can give us a call at 769-257-7586. And oh yeah, tell them Sonia sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Today I have with me former Wake Forest standout and head basketball coach of the LaVergne Wolverines, Coach Tony Rutland. Hey Coach, how are you doing today?
All right, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you, I'm doing well. Thanks for coming on the show. We were introduced by a good friend of mine, and I guess he's your friend too.
Yeah.
Your golf buddy, Trent Matt.
Yes.
He was on the show last month, so I'm thankful for the introduction because I used to watch you back in the day.
Oh, really? Great guy. He's a great guy. And when I first met him on the golf course, I like, you had to play basketball. And so from now on, we just actually been, hitting golf balls and shooting the breezes and talking about sports and cooking.
That's awesome. Yeah, I watched you, but I'm a Tar Heel fan, so.
If I'd have known that, I probably wouldn't do the interview.
Well, I'm glad I did not. Too late now, buddy.
I'll take that. It's better than Duke, so I'll take that.
Oh, I hate Duke. Oh yeah, so we got that in common. Great.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, I hate them. But anyway, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, again, I coach at LaVergne High School. I'm from Hampton, Virginia. Played at Wake Forest University, but growing up, I went to Bethel High School. Played with a Hall of Famer, Allen Iverson, who we grew up together since we were 11. Played AAU ball since then, and very close friends. But again, just being a military brat, my dad retired from Langley Air Force Base, and after Wake Forest, I actually just was going overseas and tried out with the Sixers. Didn't make that, but at the end of the day, I gave it a shot and played overseas for like 8 or 9 years. So now I'm giving back to the kids. I think anything that I can do for the kids is really key. Just helping develop, and I've trained a lot of kids as well that's in the NBA and in college as well.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, Coach, how did your love for the game start?
Actually, it was the last sport that I started to play. First was soccer, and then I think it got into baseball and football. And, my dad, being in the military, they had rec league on the base, and he signed me up for basketball, I think at the age 10. Mm-hmm. And I was one of the tallest ones on the team. That quickly stopped after a certain age, and, I would end up being one of the smallest, but I just picked it up, and I enjoy just the passion from basketball. But, my dad never really just stuck me in one sport. It was playing multiple sports. And, and that's where I got the love for just being an athlete in general, and I tell all the kids, if you want to play, just play everything while you can, because, you never know what sport might get you. And my biggest regret, like you said, I mentioned before, I play golf. Well, going to Wake Forest, I never thought in a million years I would play golf. It was boring. It was a boring sport, seeing somebody hit a white golf ball, and I never watched it. Got into Tiger Woods, and when we won our ACC championships, we would give that to Arnold Palmer. So,
Wow.
and it didn't click then either, that he's one of the best golfers to ever play. And,
Yeah.
but if I'd have known that, then I probably would have, got into golf a long time ago. But again, just playing multiple sports is just key.
Yeah, that's cool. So, you mentioned you was thinking golf was boring. And that's what I mentioned to Trent because it seems very boring, but I noticed athletes who play it, AKA Michael Jordan,
Yes.
all of y'all, you're so competitive that
Mhm.
it's a competitive thing for you. It's not relaxing. It's not a social thing. It's competitive.
It is. And, just, us playing basketball, and we can kind of control the outcome when it comes to basketball,
Mhm.
like how you shoot, your chances of making free throws or a shot are greater, but just knowing that you can't dominate the golf game, and
Oh,
you see what I'm saying, so like trying to hit a golf ball 500 yards or 300 yards and so you over swinging, and that just making you come back, because you feel like you're almost there and you want to dominate and conquer the game. The greatest, like Michael Jordan, is one of the best to ever play. But then when he plays golf, you can't say that about him, but to
right,
him, he wants to compete against everybody. I want to beat you on because, that's what he's used to doing. And,
right.
but I mean, again, it's a mental game, and it helps you realize that, hey, the golf game is actually 90% mental, and you don't
Mhm.
realize it. But if you can't get that last shot out of your head, or your miscues or whatever, it carries on to the next shot. And I can say that helped me, one, coach, and help me tell the guys, hey, once it's gone, it's gone. Let's go on to the next play and help you. The game is 80% mental and 20% physical.
Wow.
So that's why I really love the golf game. It's relaxing as well too.
I just want to learn because I know deals are made on the golf
Yes,
golf course,
it
and
is. Hmm.
I loved playing, at putt putt when I was
Yeah.
little. So that's I played a couple of times, but not. I'm gonna get into it. I really am.
Right.
I'm really gonna get into it. So, Coach, as you mentioned earlier, you played high school ball with Allen Iverson. I didn't realize you guys actually grew up together, like since 11. So,
Yep.
um, I read the other night you responded to a tweet from Damian Lillard. I love what
Hmm.
you said regarding being the player that's unknown. Your reply was crazy that playing with Allen Iverson made me work better, make me work harder. I'm sorry. Not because he was better than me, because when people came to see him, they would think I was him or better than. Always got to have that burn to be better. Hashtag unseen hours. Hashtag work hard. Could you elaborate on that for me, please?
Sure. I always used to get frustrated when Allen, nothing, and I'm not taking nothing away from Allen.
Oh,
He's a great player.
absolutely. No, I know.
And I think that, when Allen, in the game of basketball, sometimes it's things that you can't control, whether it's politics or who gets rated or who's a 5-star, who's a 2-star. And a lot of times people are labeled those athletes because they were pushed by somebody to get them noticed. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean that they're the best player or they're the best player in that state. They just happen to be on a team to get noticed. And my dad always used to say, hey, you ride his coattail to get what you want. And you know what you do every day. I used to get up 5 o'clock in the morning, go to the military base and practice and shoot, and then go to school and come back and then work out after school.
Wow.
So I did that every day. I didn't want to do it then, but I did it and I worked hard at it. And that's what I was saying, unseen hours where, nowadays everybody wants to post workouts or everybody wants to, show what you're doing, but it's the ones that work out when nobody's around, when nobody's doing this. And if you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, people will recognize what your worth is. And
Right.
people who know the game know who can play and who can't. And to me, that's what got me the way I was. Unfortunately, like, I had an injury, but I rode his coattail and I was able to get a Nike camp, which was a Nike Top 100. And at that point in time, I was AI sidekick. And then, when you go to Nike camp, it's all on you. And I showed the people what I can do. Again, you can't control politics or whatever, but the top 20 all-star to me was already set in stone. So that was going to be on TV, but I made the next all-star, which is top 40.
Mhm.
And I was ranked like top 5 surprise guard to come out. And, and that's what really got me going. And then I realized I started to make it when at the time where I go to the bathroom and here's 10 coaches follow me to the bathroom, say, well, consider Alabama, or, consider this school. And then I realized that, hey, now I'm me. And
Right.
that's how, I was able to get and go to Wake Forest and, shine there. And, again, things happen for a reason. I don't question God or whatever, but
Yeah.
I was in a situation where I could have left my sophomore year. I was having a great year, winning the ACC championship. An agent had told me that I could have probably left my sophomore year, but I tore my ACL in the championship game. But again, I don't question it. And I had a great 4-year career there and was able to play with Tim Duncan, who by all means was one of the best players to ever, lace up the shoes as a power forward. And he made the game fun and easy for me. And I hope I did the same for him.
It's awesome. I love what your father told you, because that not only your teammate, but that was your friend.
Yeah.
Ride it. I mean, just because I didn't see you, of course, play at Bethel, but I saw you was a baller.
Thank
For
you.
real. I mean, you was a baller. And so that was good advice from him, because it's just like, they'll see you, the exposure will come. Go ahead.
And he told me to take that fire and just know the game. So, I knew Allen's game and I knew the other guy's game. So, if Allen was a shoot, and he would always tell me he doesn't make, 100% of his shots, just know his misses. And then I became a better rebounder, or know where guys' spots are. And if you want assists, know where their spots are. So when you give them a pass, you get assists. So again, it helped me become a better ball player, not just playing basketball, but mentally become a great player.
Because you added the strategy to it.
Yes.
I love that. That's great. So, you mentioned you played with Tim Duncan, also a Hall of Famer at Wake Forest, and they're led by Duncan. The Deacons won the ACC tournament in your freshman and sophomore seasons, reaching the NCAA Sweet 16 in '95, Elite 8 a year later. And Coach, you also earned third team All AAC honors as a junior in '97. So it looks like each stage in your life was new growth for you, from Bethel to Wake Forest. And then, although you hurt your knee, it got you ready for the Korean Basketball League.
It did.
How special was that for you to be able to play in Korea to honor your heritage?
And again, I don't question God. I think things happen for a reason. And, my mom had passed away from cancer my sophomore year in college. And, it just seemed like everything fell down my sophomore year. Well, passing of my mom and then my knee injury. But, again, I had a great career. And then all of a sudden the opportunity to play in Korea came along after I graduated. And, it was crazy because I was able to play in front of all my mom's side of the family. So my grandmother was able to come see me play.
But
and
she
my
was
uncle.
there. Okay, your grandmother was still alive.
Yes.
Wow.
So I had my aunts and uncles. They all came and see me play. So it was nothing like it. I think it was one of the best experiences I had. I think they were proud. And, I think for a moment they were able to, be proud, and I was able to take them out to eat stuff that they never done in a long time. So again, it was just a wonderful experience. And, again, the game over there is very fast, up paced, and, they try to model their style of play like the NBA. So I really enjoy playing over there in Korea.
You know, even though your mom, you know, she passed away, she was there with you because
Oh
you're
yeah.
her family, and that's so cool. You got to um, be with your family. Had you been to Korea before that?
I had not. And, we left at a young age because, again, my father was in the military. So
Right.
me and my sister were born in the Philippines. And then
Okay.
we got stationed in the United States after a couple of years. So we never were able to come back to Korea. But, my aunt would come or my grandmother would come. So I did meet them in the States, but I was young. And
Mhm.
so to go to Korea, it was just a different experience because I've always heard so much great things about it, and I was just able to go there and just experience for myself.
I just my friend, because I've been wanting to do it for a year. I love Japanese. I love hibachi. I love, oh my gosh, I can eat hibachi all the time. But I tried Korean barbecue um about almost 2 months ago.
Hmm.
And it was fun. I was like, but I was, because we had been cooking for an hour, because you cook.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm
yeah,
sick of this. I could do this at home.
yeah,
So, but the meat was seasoned perfectly. I mean, the vegetables, it was so good. It was really, really good.
yeah. The thing I think to me about Korean dishes is that the meats are kind of like the side dishes.
Yeah,
So
because they're
like,
so thin.
right. So, you have the rice is, your main, and then you have,
Mhm.
your spicy kimchi, and then you have other stuff. But uh, you definitely can't be super, super hungry when you're going to Korean barbecue because if not, then you'll be hungry for a while. But it's other things that, they do have, which is the bulgogi beef, which I really love.
Mhm.
It's
How
it's
is that
almost like
made?
it's like a sweet and like soy sauce and marinates the beef and it's sliced
Mhm.
in, but it's cooked already. And so, it kind of cooks us in the juices and stuff, but it's really good.
Is that something I can eat at the Korean barbecue place?
Yeah.
And what
And
is it
it's
called
our
again?
bulgogi.
Bulgogi. Okay.
Yeah. And
Uh,
so it's not like you have to cook it right then and there. They can have it already done, and then, they can have it there and you can eat it with rice or whatever.
well, I enjoyed it. I was just tired. I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, do I gotta go clean the kitchen too?
I
I'm
know that's
over
right.
this.
Yeah, I know that's right. Yeah.
So, so coach, you were a probation officer for many years before
Mhm.
becoming a coach. How much of a role does your former position as a probation officer play in your role as a coach?
Um, I would say it plays a big role, but more as an educator than anything
Mhm.
else. Kids tend to gravitate to me at the school,
Yeah,
which I really love. And at the end of the day, my thing is I might not be able to help 10 kids or 20 kids, but if I can help one or two
right.
turn their life around and tell my experiences of what I've seen and been around, then you know I've done my job. And at the end of the day, kids, they make bad decisions at times, but if you can help them turn right when they're supposed to turn right, then it'll help them out. And I've
Right.
seen a lot of kids, one, listen and graduate and do the things the right way, and it makes me more proud that I help guys that are not even on the basketball team. But when I'm a coach, I've actually kept guys because basketball is their passion, and
Mhm.
although they're not as talented, I know keeping them on a team helps them change their motives, help them change the way of thinking. And I tell the guys all the time, I need leaders, not followers. And followers can end up having you in a morgue,
Yeah.
just following the wrong crowd or just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I've seen it happen through being a probation officer because I was in Atlanta. It was over 15,000 probationers in Fulton County.
Wow.
We partnered up and with the Atlanta APD, and I met a couple of former ACC players that played football, and we were partners. And we just went out there and mentored kids, or just talked to people that we tried to help out, and that was the biggest thing that I got from there that I carry on as an educator and as a coach.
That is so awesome. I'm so thankful to hear that because I interviewed FAMU's head coach, Coach Willie Simmons last week,
Yep.
and
Hmm.
we pretty much talked about that very same thing because. And then my coach, I went to Jackson State, so Coach Deion
Okay.
Sanders,
Hmm.
he said maybe about a month or so, he does motivational um, post on
Yeah.
social media every day, and he said that you can't be a gangster. No, you can't be an athlete and be in the street. You got
Yep.
to make a decision. And I'm sorry, sports keep a lot of kids
Mhm.
out of the streets. Some of them try to gravitate back to it because of loyalty to certain friends or whatever, but it really has saved a lot of kids' lives.
Yeah.
Kept them out of
It, it,
jail, kept them out of the morgue. And even back in the
it-
day, I'm sorry to cut you off, they used
no,
to,
you're fine.
the guys that were in the street, the hood dudes, if they saw you had a talent, they'd be like, no, you go on.
All right.
No, you got a future. They saw that.
And I think that goes back to with Allen,
Mhm.
firsthand. I think, everybody talked about, well, Allen had a big entourage, when he got, into the NBA. But, his thing was those are the guys that kept me out of jail. Those are the guys that kept me out of the streets. Those are the guys that said, hey, you only be on this corner, or, if you just go to school, we'll buy you the shoes or whatever. So, in turn, I mean, he took care of them after
Right.
being taken care of for a long period of time. So, I mean, it's true. We've seen success stories, and we also seen bad stories.
Yeah.
Where athletes is, the story where you can't be in the streets, and I'm talking about top athletes in the world that never make it out of 12th grade or 10th grade or not even college. I mean, you just look at the stories from football players to the famous basketball players in college that I mean, and from Chicago that never made it out of the high
Yeah.
school area
Ben
because
Simmons.
I mean, so at the end of the day, it's just unfortunate, but again, you try to help the ones that are very talented, and you try to help them get out.
That's true. When you said that, I thought about Benji Simmons.
Yeah.
Benji, I loved him. My family lives in Chicago, so I,
Okay.
I keep up with. I'm a Chicago sports fan, but I'm maybe 12 or 13 when he got killed, and
Hmm.
I think about him laying by his. Oh God,
Yeah.
just
Very
and
one
then
of the
like
best.
one of the best. It's
Mhm.
just like I think about what they could have been, and like you said, it's some people that never made, didn't play after high school are probably better than Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
Allen, that, great players, but because of their, the choices that they made, they didn't get to do it. So
Exactly.
I'm glad there's people like you out there that are helping them though. I really am. So
Appreciate
now
it.
you're head basketball coach at LaVergne High School. You were named head coach during the pandemic last year. Since the world is getting back open now, are you guys back on a regiment on a schedule now?
Yes. We're actually our full go schedule right now.
Mhm.
We just got over a temporary mask mandate, so um, parents can opt out. But again, last year was very tough. I mean, we did get through a season, but again, I think give credit to the county and my players and the parents. We actually had low numbers of being positive for COVID and
Right,
contact tracing because we did what we were supposed to do. So
right.
one sports is people's livelihoods, and this year hopefully we are able to have a full crowd and bring the community back to the gym, and hopefully you know people will see us win and hopefully come out and support.
You mentioned that's it's sports is people's livelihood. How do you feel how about no, I can't even say his name. You know who I'm talking about, basketball player who
Ben
what is
Simmons
he? Who?
from the Sixers.
Yeah, what is his name? Kyrie.
Oh, Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving. I'm sorry, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
He's the one that, he's not playing right now because he will
Right.
not get the vaccination.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I respect anything that he does or any athlete. People have to understand that, just because they're, play basketball, they're put in a fishbowl. And, people tend to say, oh, they're rude. They're not like this. They're, that they didn't take time to sign autographs. And, and I try to tell them, like, look, they're really not like that. Just put
Right.
in perspective, if you've been on TV, you've been playing, you practice every day, and you just want to have a nice dinner with your family, and you get bombarded with a 1,000 autographs, because once you sign one, they're all
You
going to
got to sign
come.
the other one. Yeah.
Right. And so you don't want to be to that point, and I get it. But with Kyrie, that's him and his family. It's decisions that he decides to make. And I kind of go back, um, you know, athletes are role models without,
Trying to be.
be role out, and Charles Barkley tried to say, I'm not a role model back in the day. I'm a basketball, I'm not. Yeah, I get it. But at the end of the day, people look up to you. So how you carry yourself. My dad always used to, again, my dad's from Philly, so I'm a big Philly person.
Mhm.
And so I was Sixers this, Eagles that, Flyers, Phillies, all that.
Yeah.
But I grew up, my favorite person wasn't Michael Jordan, it was Dr. J. And so when
Oh,
I
yeah.
grew up, it was, look how Dr. J plays, look how he carries himself, like look how he dressed. He's one of the best dressed NBA players out there. He always wore suits and all that stuff. So that's how my dad kind of like brought me up, like trying to be like, and it was just more of an image thing. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying Kyrie's a bad person or whatever. That's him and his decision and his family. And you have to respect it. Now, it hurts the team because you're not out there playing.
Mhm.
But, just knowing we're going through a pandemic year, whatever he can do just to be safe. Again, it's about your personal health first. And then, basketball come later.
So, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers not being truthful? He said, I'm immunized. What,
Yeah.
I can't even say it.
Immunized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
immunized.
Yeah.
But he put other players in jeopardy with not being truthful.
Yeah, and I think it was just more of being not truthful to the media, but I think everybody knew that he wasn't
So,
uh,
okay,
vaccinated, and the rules were, he had to wear masks and this and that. But the other thing is, like, what can you do? Like, um, I think everybody knew what was going on, and again, if he had to wear a mask, or you knew that he wasn't vaccinated, then you have to keep your space and stuff like that. That's just like me in school. We don't have to wear masks, but I still keep my mask, just because,
right.
one, it's just too many people around, and
Mhm.
people just, you never know what can happen. So it's just more personal safety than anything else. And I definitely think through this pandemic, it has woken up a lot of people on uh, space, taking care of your body,
Yeah.
and just just being cautious of what you touch and what you be around.
Hmm. Well, I guess the NBA rules are different from the NFL. However, I just, they gave him a
Yes.
lot of flack versus Aaron. Not
Yeah.
trying to make it a black and white thing. It's just
Yeah.
the fact that it was different.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was
It
different.
definitely is, and I think it's just different states and different,
Right. You're right.
and so here's the other thing. If the Super Bowl is in New York, is he able to play Super Bowl in New York? So that's the
True.
other thing. Like, if he's not vaccinated, I mean, what, it can't be no different,
Right.
than for basketball than it is for football. So um, if for
That's
somebody who
true.
can, and that's what they got to look at. So I mean, it's kind of crazy, but sports sells, and it's about money, and that's where they're at.
That's true. So, Coach, changing gears, getting back to
Uh-huh.
your Wolverines. Do
Yep.
you see any Tony Rutlands, any Allen Iversons, any Tim Duncans right now? Do you see
on
potential
my team or just in general?
on your team?
Um, I see talent. I
Mhm.
wish that I could have had a lot. I had some guys just transfer in, and I wish I had them for 4 years plus. I think the potential is there definitely, and the one thing that I see in Rutherford County is everybody saying that Rutherford County is a football county, but it's so much talent on the basketball end. I just think that we just need to bring the recognition to the county. And again, I'm the type of coach that it's not. I'm not. Oh, it's my team or no team.
Mhm.
It's me and whoever is around. If you have talent, if you need me to help you, I'm here to help you. So I don't care if I have to play against you 3 or 4 times. If I feel like that I can help you better yourself as a basketball player, I'm going to do it. And so, my best friend's father trained me, and he went to my rival school, which is Hampton High School. So
Hmm.
we battled each other, every season, but yet we turn around and we're in the gym working out every day. So, so I think that's just my mindset. I could care less what school you go to. If I can help you and be successful, I am.
That's awesome. So, Coach, what legacy would you like to leave when you're long gone from LaVergne High School?
Just, giving back,
Mhm.
I mean, I want to help as many kids as I can and just say, hey, Coach Rutland helped me with my workout routine, or whether it's he saved my life from changing from bad to good. It wasn't all about basketball, but at the end of the day, I still want people to recognize, how I was as a player as well.
Right.
And I think giving back to the kids has been the best thing for me. It humbles you. I've always been humble, and again, I'm not the one to just be bragging or doing whatever. I want kids to understand that it don't matter who I am. I'm here to help you, and that's just what it
That's awesome. And I'm glad you don't, you said you don't brag about it. Can you tell your friend Trent to stop bragging about
is.
his bologna sandwiches and playing golf? I'm over it. I'm
Hey,
so over it.
hey, I'm not mad at him, but them
See,
bologna
there you
sandwiches, bro.
go. Coach, before I let you go, I play
uh,
a little game called You Can Get With This or You Can Get With That. And what
okay,
that is, it's a way for the listeners and myself to get to know the guests better. So I'll
got you.
ask you a few questions and you tell me which one best fits you, okay?
All right,
It's easy. It's
got
easy. Would you rather pause time or rewind time?
you. I would say rewind time. Um, my biggest thing, I don't regret it, but I would rewind time to that play where I tore my
Yeah.
ACL, and I would do something different. I think I've told people that before,
Hmm.
and I would love to see what the outcome would be.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, because again, people were had the buzz about me possibly leaving my sophomore year, and I mean, it would be nice, what I mean, and you never know.
never know. Would you prefer the painful truth or a comforting lie?
Um, a comforting lie. Sometimes people can't handle the truth,
Hmm.
and I think I might be one of that, depending on what it is. But uh, a comforting lie let me down easily than the honest truth. I think to me, I've always grew up being scared of rejection, so I
Hmm.
think I just telling me the truth, kind of like sometimes people's self esteem can get hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying the truth is bad, but at the end of the day, I mean, you can kind of let me down a little softly.
I have a friend that calls me the truth teller. Uh, I'm not, and I do it with love. Sometimes I prefer the painful truth. It
Yeah.
may hurt me,
Hmm.
I but I'll put it to you this way. I have asked God, like at the beginning of the year, I'd be like, can you show me myself? And it's ugly. And I
Yeah.
don't like it, but it helps me grow.
Right.
So and that's how I am with my friends.
No,
They don't
I
want to
get it.
hear it sometimes, but I'd be like, I'm not gonna lie to you. So
Yeah. And it's crazy because a student came to me, well, two students came in my class, and they were
mhm,
one of my players. And I guess a girl was trying to talk to him, and he was like, "I'm just gonna be honest, I don't do relationships." And I told her that, and I was like, and she was like, "Dang, that's messed up." I was like, "Well, see, you want somebody to be truthful, but then when they give you the truth, you
right, you
can't
can't
handle
handle
it.
it.
Yeah, you want a guy to be truthful, be straight up. So when he
Now that
tells you
makes
like,
sense.
and he was honest with the girl. He said, "Look, I just don't do commitments good. We can be friends or do whatever." And I was like, "Well, see, that's the thing. Like, she can either take that and just be friends, and you never know what can the outcome can be, or
Mhm.
not be it at all. You know what I mean?" So I get it. The truthful, being truthful can just be like, "Hey, you take it or leave it, or else."
I appreciate him doing that because,
Yeah,
and that's at a young age, he's doing that now. That's really, really good.
yeah.
Because, I mean, you're right. I mean, most women, we say, don't lie to me, but when y'all tell the truth, it's like,
You can't
we,
handle
we can't
it.
handle it. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. Predictability or excitement?
excitement.
Me too.
I'm excited. Yeah, I like excitement.
Yeah. Underestimated. This is a good one for you. Underestimated or overestimated?
Um, I would say underestimated. I've always been underestimated, and
I love it.
I think I've always liked to shine because when people doubt you, I've always said like all I need is one person to doubt me, and I know
Oh,
God's
and
gonna
I
make
go
it happen.
off.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So,
I totally I sing also.
hmm
So I remember this young woman that sings in the city too. She came to my show, but it wasn't coming to support me. She was sitting like this.
oh,
And I said, okay.
yeah,
And I gave it to him. And it was like,
that's
that
it.
was your best show. I mean,
Yeah.
I did. I'm like, okay, that's what we're doing. So I feel you on that.
Yeah,
I
and I
love
tell I tell the kids all the time, like, if you're not doing it right, then you don't have no haters. Like haters gonna hate. So if you're doing it right, then you're gonna have haters.
yeah,
So
that's true. That is true. Success or happiness?
happiness. I've always wanted to be successful, but I've realized happiness is greater than success. And I have a son and a daughter, and just seeing them and being, they're happy growing up and stuff. I think that's really key. Being successful doesn't make you happy all the time,
Right.
and that goes back to having all the money in the world and not being happy. So being happy is really key.
It really is. How old are your kids?
My daughter is 14 and my son is 5.
Do they play interested in sports, either one of them?
My daughter is an athlete where she dances. So
Oh, I
she's
love it.
in competition dance. So she's got offered like won scholarships at competitions and stuff like that. And my son is, I can say he is me when I was
Oh,
young, a lot of energy and all. So yeah.
I love it. That's cool. Um, would you prefer no Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving or after?
After.
Okay, because I know
Definitely after.
people they're putting them up now.
They've been and I yeah, no, you gotta do after, but they'll keep them up now and they won't take them out till like February.
Some people are keeping it. A girl told me her friend keeps hers up year round and just changes the decorations for different
Nah,
holidays.
nah, you gotta let that
That don't make any sense to me. I don't like it.
you got you gotta let that go.
Yeah. Speaking of Thanksgiving, since it's coming up next week, ham or turkey?
Whew. I like both, but I've been liking the fried turkey now,
Oh
so
yeah,
I would go deep fried turkey.
yeah. Well, until I started getting the turkeys fried, because turkey was always dry to me.
Yeah,
And so I just wanted the sides. Just give me
yeah,
the dressing,
sides.
the macaroni and cheese,
Yeah,
potato. That's all I
I
want.
know.
I don't need
Right.
any meat. So,
Yeah,
but we're getting it fried, so I'm excited. Um, Bethel or Wake Forest?
I would go Wake Forest just because college is the best time of your life.
Yes.
That's in high school, you have friends, but I tell kids all the time, college is where you meet your lifetime friends,
Mm-hmm.
where you meet people that are truly on your level, but from a different place. And so I would say there's nothing wrong with being at Wake Forest. I would choose Wake Forest. Plus, it was a perfect area because growing up in Hampton, I still was in Winston-Salem State, North Carolina A&T, Bennett College. So I stayed at all the HBCU campuses, and I
Mm-hmm.
was still able to experience, great college atmosphere. So people don't understand like Wake Forest is a private school and they only have like 3,500 students, but it was still one of the best time of my life.
I agree. I totally agree. College at Jackson State, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Right.
Homecoming is
Yeah,
bananas every year.
man.
It's like, I mean, they're my family. It's a lot.
Yeah,
I'm closer to some of those people than I am some family members. I
yeah,
love them so, so much.
yeah. I experienced the CIAA all 4 years at Wake Forest, so
Wow.
I had a ball.
Exactly. Look, literally and figuratively.
You definitely.
um, Basketball or golf?
I would
I cannot believe you got to think about this.
know because I'm thinking about now, but
Oh, okay. Okay.
I would say basketball still.
Mhm.
Because I still haven't given it up. As bad as my knees are, and as bad as it may I feel afterwards, I'm still out there trying to play and all this stuff. So basketball is always going to be my first love, and golf. I love golf, but basketball is what got me there.
Gotcha. Last question. AI or Tim Duncan?
Whoa, that's
And
a
remember,
tough.
no answer is wrong. I mean, it's not a wrong answer. It's just your preference.
Um, that is super super tough because they're both two different people,
Yeah.
and they're both.
Different stages of your life too.
Yeah, and I would say Tim in a way because he made it easy for me, and not to say that Alan didn't make it easy for me, but it was like more of a tandem where he fed off of me and I fed off of him.
Gotcha.
When it was me and AI, we were a great combo. Um, but we still were getting, we were going at each other in practices and stuff like that because we were so
Okay.
competitive. But I would say Tim Duncan by far is the best, but I also say Allen Iverson is the best pound for pound player to play.
Yeah.
He'll fight you tooth and nail before he wanted to lose. So, but I got to go with Mr. Fundamental, and then,
Fundamental.
but
Yeah.
not by far because
I know.
that guy's just tough. That's a tough
I
one.
know. I know. I love these. I love doing these questions. They're fun.
Yes,
Fun.
that was a great one.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Coach.
No problem.
Please tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media if you're on there, as well as the website for your school so they can find out when your team is playing.
Yeah, LaVergne High School, we have a Twitter page. I don't know exactly what the Twitter
Mhm.
page is, but I also Twitter is TRut30, and I think my IG is TRut3010 maybe or something like that. But
Okay.
again, I'm on it, but again, it's just me posting for team or family or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'll talk to anybody who shoot me a message about basketball or want to do a podcast or whatever. Again, I'm never above anyone, and I feel like that anybody who wants to talk or just say, "Hey, I saw you play" or whatever, I'm all for it.
Awesome. That's great. That's great.
Yep.
And guys, you can follow me at She Says She Say Sports on Facebook, She Says She Say Sports 23 on IG, at She Says She Say 23 on Twitter, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, She Says She Say Sports. Well, that's my show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia with She Says She Say Sports.